These are the time NBA players have been caught cheating on the basketball court during a game. And a couple conspiracy theories for you too. Starting off with LeBron James versus Derrick Rose. With the series being led by the Heat 3-1, LeBron probably didn't need to do this, but he wanted to make sure he would do everything to make sure they would advance.
Foul called. Second on Rose.
Naughty, naughty LeBron. Speaking of naughty, naughty, here is J.R. Smith just being plain mean.
Attack the rim.
Yeah, and for those just tuning in, he has an upper respiratory.
It seems NBA players just love being cheeky with their opponent's shoes, since here is Tyson Chandler stopping Maurice Spates from getting his shoe back.
Chandler swatting it out of bounds. Get that shoe out of here!
The fans are up right now. They're ready for some.
Next up, we have Caron Butler just being plain petty. In a 20-point blowout, he wasn't feeling too good, and he decided to pull a quick prank on Jonas Valanciunas, pretending to dap him up and then stealing the ball afterwards.
This ball club, but there's no indication they're going to try to get off a shot. Butler with a takeaway and a loose ball, brother. A clear past the basket foul may be called.
And look at Blake's face, he wasn't happy. Just like the Warriors when they were playing the Lakers, already 20 points down, and then McGee pulls something like this, pretending to be injured so he could get a free dunk.
Season a week from tomorrow against the Clippers at the brand new Chase Center in San Francisco. Here's McGee from Davis. 5 assists for Anthony Davis now.
Absolutely terrible. Just like how when Jason Kidd noticed the Atlanta coach was on the floor during a close 2-point game with under a minute left, and then he accidentally bumped into him, rewarding the Mavericks with some free throws.
And that's unfortunate. Woody is still upset. And he's, gave Jason Kidd, an earful. But then again, a pretty heady move by Jason Kidd.
And they went on to win that game too. What a crafty veteran move. And here is Jared Dudley clapping to stop Paul making his shot. Speaking of naughty naughty, we have our first conspiracy, and it's about game 1 of the 2014 finals. The theory goes that the Spurs deliberately broke their aircon so their arena would get extra hot, up to 90 degrees. But why would they do this? Well, the Spurs had a lot of international players on their team, 8 out of 19 roster spots in fact, including key rotation players such as Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tim Parker and Boris Diaw, all of which would be used to playing outdoors in hot temperatures, unlike LeBron James, who ended up cramping towards the end of the game and had to come off due to the heat. But would the Spurs really do this to gain an unfair advantage? Parker himself did say that after game 1 it felt like he was just back in Europe, where they don't really have AC. So did the Spurs really do this? I'll leave it up to you to decide. On to something a little bit more lighthearted, here is Marcelo Huertas hiding behind Coach Spo to get this steal.
Coach, and then all of a sudden he runs back on the floor and scores. And none of Gordon's teammates are saying a word.
Something else lighthearted was when Draymond Green decided not to kick his opponents to get an advantage, but instead decided to listen in on their huddle, trying to hear what they were planning.
Apparently Draymond was listening.
This is when you got to elbow somebody. You can elbow him right to the face.
Metta World Peace is well known for his antics, and here he goes again trying to do anything possible to try and clamp up Paul Pierce.
It's a tactic, yanking the shorts of Paul Pierce down, but it didn't work too well because right after that Paul Pierce drained a 3 on.
Speaking of petty, how about a whole NBA franchise being downright mean? You see, this season the Sacramento Kings picked Russ as their ice cold player of the game, and every time he missed a shot, they played "You're as cold as ice."
That young man is hustling.
Westbrook with a deep 3 ball. Len with the rebound.
Trying to finish the possession with a defensive rebound. That's the guy you want shooting. In his hands that time for the slam. And that's what happens when Fox pushes tempo. Great things happen.
If you run with him.
And this actually led to the NBA stepping in and banning the Kings from ever playing the track again. Funny times. Something else that was pretty funny was all the way back in 2008 when Portland managed to score against the Big Three Celtics with 6 people on the court. Look at Garnett's face, he is livid. Speaking of angry, I would be angry if I was one of the Wizard players here. You see, in a close game versus the Nets, the assistant coach decided to play some extra defense as he craftily intercepted this pass.
Because it's getting kind of out of hand right now, JK.
and nothing came of it, resulting in a Nets win. Brooklyn coaches seem to be very sneaky these days, since Jason Kidd also did something naughty. In a 2-point game with 8 seconds left, Jason wanted to call a timeout, but there was a problem. He didn't have any. So what did he do? Well, he held a drink close to him and told Taylor to just bump into him. You see, this would stop play as the court needed to be cleaned, effectively giving Jason his timeout. Except it didn't work, they still lost and he got fined too. Worth a try though, Jason. Someone else that got caught was Jason Bell, and he was guilty of one of the most heinous of crimes. You see, in a 2-point game with under 2 seconds left, he had his jersey untucked. You see, crafty veteran CP3 noticed that Bell's jersey was untucked, and this is actually classed as a technical foul. And this meant after Karl Anthony Towns free throws, where it should have been a 3-point game, it was actually a 2-point game. And after this touchdown inbound pass from Steven Adams, the Thunder went on to tie the game and then win it in overtime. CP3 out here snitching, oh my goodness. Speaking of snitching, that's exactly what Paul Millsap did when he noticed the basketball felt a little bit odd. And after some digging, the referees confiscated a bottle of Stickum that was found on the bench. And we later on found out this belonged to Dwight Howard, who even admitted that it really wasn't a big deal since he used it every game to help his hands be more sticky to catch rebounds. And for some reason the league seemed to agree that it really wasn't a big deal since only a warning was issued and there was no fine. But this last one, well, this could really be a big deal. It's time for our last conspiracy. You see, all the way back in 2013, a woman who claimed to work for Anthony Bosch, a person who provided a lot of the steroids to the NBA players, claimed that when she was working at Bosch's clinic, Rich Paul, LeBron's friend and agent, would make monthly visits there to pick up products labeled with the initials LB. And she says her and the other staff are 100% sure that it was LeBron James who was the recipient of these products. Does this mean LeBron James was on steroids while he was in Miami? We will probably never know for sure, but one thing I can tell you is that nothing came of these claims, and it looks like nothing ever will. Woo! Well, I don't know about you, but I think we need something a little bit more light-hearted to cheer this video up. So here's a clip of Markieff Morris just being an irritant on Steph Curry. Look at this. I hope you liked the video though. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for me, and consider watching this video here where I tell you the story of the time Kobe Bryant got his revenge on Michael Jordan.